friends, hi, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you can see me and it's not too blurry, and hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully it's not too loud with the wind today. My ears are still ringing. I helped load a semi of corn, so it's very loud when I was doing that, so if I'm yelling, I'm sorry. So today's video, I'm going to show you my coffee that's been sitting, but what we have going on in the garden. So let's call this our first garden tour of 2023. Gosh, I can't believe it's already this time of year. So first we have our beautiful apple trees. Oh my gosh. They're coming along great. This year's the year. These are dwarf apple trees. This is the year we're supposed to get fruit from them, so we have 4. 1, 2, 3, and then this big guy over here, 4. They're just a beautiful tree. We got 4 different varieties. My father-in-law had got them for us a few years back. Oh, look, a little flower. But I honestly don't remember which variety was what when we planted them. So it's just gonna kind of be a gamble. So that's okay. Okay, so let's start right here and work our way over. So this is all empty. We have to rototill to get this ready. This is gonna be our potato patch this year. We actually might have to add more to it this year because I don't think this is big enough for our potatoes. We grow a lot of potatoes, we can a lot of potatoes, and we're also selling produce this year with a CSA farm box description, so like I really don't think this is enough. We might have to extend it, which is fine, not a big deal. So we're gonna hopefully work on that this week so we can get potatoes planted next week, is the goal. So my husband made me, we got these bamboo sticks. They're interesting. They're just legit bamboo sticks. A greenhouse locally to us was throwing them out, so we went and picked them up. And so he made me some little trellises, and what we have planted, we planted last week, we planted some peas. So I planted a row on this side of the trellis, and then we planted a row on this side of the trellis. So that we'll have 4 beautiful rows of peas, and then like a little walkway. So we just planted the peas last week, so obviously no sprout yet. But yeah, so these 4 rows are going to be peas. Super exciting. This little guy got destroyed on the weekend, and I'm hoping we can save it. It's still green, so it's still looking pretty good. It's a kiwi plant, so I'm hoping that it comes back because somebody wrecked it on the weekend. Yeah, so moving along. So we have, as you can see, this is our garlic patch. We planted 2, 4, 6, 10 pounds of garlic, maybe, is what we, 10 pounds of garlic seed, something like that. So we have 4 rows of it. Let's see if I can get in. It's beautiful looking though, it's doing really well this year. We plant the garlic in the fall time. I don't like to do spring garlic personally. I've had bad luck with it, just my own personal experience. So we stick to doing it over winter. So we planted all these bad boys back in the fall. But they're doing really, really well, which is great because not only are these for us this year, but also for our CSA program. So they need to do really well. Let me quickly show you what we found too, cleaning up the garden beds. So that is leftover bunny fur. When we were cleaning up all this and going through all the garlic last week, my husband found a little hole, and as you can see, I'm missing some garlic too. There was a little bunny nest there. They're gone now. They must have fled. My husband said they probably left a couple weeks ago. It still looked kind of fresh, but they ate some of the garlic seeds that were there. So that's definitely not fun. So then next, we added to the farm some blueberry bushes. So we have some at our home property, but we wanted to add some on our farm property, obviously because the goal is to make this a forever property, right? So we planted last week 4, it's really hard to see because the color of the wood chips, so I apologize, but we planted 4 blueberry bushes. We got some pretty good size ones to start with. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. And then this is a new tree this year. It's also a dwarf tree. It's a dwarf peach tree. So we're super excited to add this one to our property. It's looking really good. We picked it up last week from the local nursery and got it planted. It's looking really good. The variety of this one is a Loring, I believe. I'll have to tag on so I wouldn't forget. Yeah, a lowering peach tree. So this is supposed to be a good size peaches for a dwarf tree. So that's why we went this one. So we just went with one for now. When this tree gets going, it's supposed to be a very good producer. So that's what we're really hoping for. Where my dog is, Timber, come on, out of the garden. Okay, so this little patch here was vacant. And so right now what we did was we just threw down some beet seeds and we'll see if they take. I have beet starts inside, but I figured it's a cool crop anyway, so we'll just do that for now. Because this was all an extension this year that we did. Right beside the asparagus patch, but we're thinking of expanding the asparagus patch a little bit, but we'll see. But speaking of asparagus, look at that guy right there. Oh my gosh. So our asparagus patch is doing really well. This is the first year that we can like harvest it sustainably. So that's really exciting, especially because like it's all doing so well. So well. So we spent the weekend and we weeded and cleaned this bed up for the asparagus. This tree is just it's a beautiful tree, it's just in a terrible spot. But we don't know what we're going to do with it yet, so my husband's just going to leave it for now. So it's a red maple, which are very expensive apparently in my area. And you know, they're beautiful trees. We had multiple of them on our farm property over the years, and then this is I think the only one. I think we have one more on the farm property. But so it's just kind of in an awkward spot. So until we figure out where we want to permanently move it, it's just going to stay in my garden area, I guess. So over here, we had to replace some bushes this year. Our blackberry ones did not take over winter very well. I think they were planted too late in the season. We were given some and they just didn't take off too well. So that's okay, but we wanted to get some new ones planted right away because it is a crop that we eat a lot of personally in our household, and then, you know, to add into our CSA program. So we got some really good looking sized ones. Camera does not do it justice. So we got 4 blackberry bushes. They are thornless ones because we do have little kids that help us in the garden, so we wanted to make sure we had thornless. It'd be easier for the children. So those are doing really well. My husband, we had put some bamboo sticks on either end of the blackberries, so as they get bigger, we can kind of help them if we have to. And then on this end of the asparagus patch, garlic, asparagus, berries, at the end of it, we have some raspberry plants. So this one is 2 years old, I think. It did really well last year. We cut it down, transplanted it, put it over here, and it's like taking really well to where we put it, so that's good. And then this one is the same thing. It's the same old, it's a couple years old. This one had some damage, so I was unsure if it was going to make it, but I think it is going to be just fine. It's starting to bud up and stuff, so it's looking really good. So we're just going to leave this one here, hopefully it does well, and then we can prune off some more canes off of it this year, so we can add another plant, like another bush, like say right there, and then that will be fine. And then this guy still needs a home, so I've just kind of left him in a pot until I can figure out where I want to home him. We had a friend give us elderberry clippings a couple years ago, and this is the only one of mine that took, which was really sad. And then my grandfather's took off really well, so I actually took some clippings this year from my grandfather, so I have them inside starting, and they're doing really well. So we just need to find a patch where we can put the elderberries so they have their own little permanent home. So that's our little, we'll call this our small garden patch, is what we're going to call that this year, okay? So now we're going to walk over and I'm going to show you what we haven't even planted yet, obviously, because it's not time just yet, but I'm going to show you the vision, okay? So just work with me when I talk about this. Let's actually just set the coffee down on this table for a second. Okay, so as you can see, this is a field. This is a big old beautiful field. Do I need to fix my camera lens? Okay, so big beautiful field. Grandfather's farm. Our farm we rent from him. His fields technically. So he is allowing us again to rent out some farmland from him. So the last 2 years he's allowed us to just extend this property that we rent from him, and we're allowed to use part of the field for gardening. So it's going to be quite the size this year. If you know me, you know that I go big or go home kind of a deal. It's just kind of what I do. I have nothing else to say about it. So it's gonna go, look at all the beautiful dandelions. Might dig some up for some roots. Anyway, so as you can see where the property line kind of is with the grass, right? So from like right here, we're gonna edge it off here so that it doesn't interfere with him growing in the back part of the fields. So we're gonna have from here all the way down to the ditch. And if you know cornrows, I'm gonna say it this way just because it's easier for my brain right now. So we are taking 20 cornrows worth for gardening, and then there's gonna be 10 cornrows that we're gonna do our decorative corn that we sell with my grandfather. We actually partner with him to sell that to some local stands. So we're going to have a massive garden situation this year. I think it's gonna be our biggest one to date. This will be our 3rd year using the field from him, and it's just going to be big, beautiful, and I'm hoping for all the best with it, to be honest. But it is a lot of work if you don't know. But I'm really excited and grateful for this opportunity to use this to grow food for my family. Obviously we give food to my grandfather who lets us rent this property, and then we also provide food to like my cousin, my sister, my friends. Like we share the wealth of our gardens, and then we sell the extra as well, which helps pay for our costs. So it's kind of a win-win situation. So just envision that. We got lots of starts inside started. So we did build a greenhouse this year. It's really like rough looking, so let's just pretend that it's not, okay? We have to spray the inside of it right now. We did cover the base with mulch, but obviously weeds come above mulch. So my husband's gonna spray that for me and get that taken care of. But it is hard to see on the camera, but it is 84 in here, which is great because outside it is like 50 Fahrenheit. So it's not a very big greenhouse, it's just small. We use some pallets, we use some like PVC pipe, some plastic. You know what, it will work for now, it will serve its purpose for now for us, which is great. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this year. And we may or may not have had a pig escape the other day, and the pig decided it would have fun rooting by my greenhouse. So anyway, so that's the garden. We're trying a new flower this year, and they're starting to sprout. We're growing some poppies, so that's really exciting. I've never grown poppies before, but I do think that they're beautiful, so I figured let's give it a try, right? One last tree to show you real quick, and then that is the end of the garden tour for today, I think. So this big beautiful pear tree, if you've seen before, I've shared it tons of times. I know this is a new channel though because I lost my old channel, unfortunately, but if you follow us on Instagram then you've seen this tree every year for years and years. This is a big beautiful pear tree. It provides such beautiful good sized pears. It's like, I don't want to cut this tree down, but it's coming close to an end of its life. Like it's getting rough the older it gets. We keep pruning it back to try to make it better, but it's you know, like all things, sometimes it just needs to be cut down. But it's still coming through this year, so we're gonna see if we can get another couple years out of it for now, before we have to panic, I guess. But we can a lot of pears. Our kids love pears. And then inside the duck pen, actually, quickly go in. The ducks were napping, so they're not thrilled with me at the moment. But inside the duck pen, we have beautiful pear tree in here. Winston! So it's legit in the duck pen. It's a pear tree. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful tree, but we don't like the pears. The pears on this tree are smaller. I forget the variety, but my family's just not a big fan of them. So we eat them not to waste them, or we feed them to animals, but like they legit fall in the duck pond and they get gross. Cause like, I love my ducks, but they're messy, right? So, that tree's there, and that one's still like thriving. I feel like we can get a long time still out of that tree if we really had to, but. So friends, that is our garden this year. That is our kind of our gist of what's going on around here. But let's be honest, if you know me, it might change. I love growing food more than anything. It soothes my soul. I love it. My husband's on board with it. It's a great family thing. So I just love it. So it might change, but as of right now, that is it. We do have, sorry, another fruit tree. I know, how dare I. This beautiful, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I am not using my regular camera today. But this is a beautiful mulberry bush tree. It's right at the gate of our animal enclosures building. So it's an odd spot, but it does produce a good amount of mulberries, which is good. So we do a lot of jam with those ones. But anyway, that is it. That is what we have going on this year. Follow along. I'm going to try to do a weekly video to show you our garden progressing, what we decide to do, what we are doing, all that fun stuff. So friends, I need to go because it's cold and windy. I had to chase the pig in today because our big boar got out today. So I'm going to go sit down and enjoy a coffee. So I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time, bye!